It is Saturday. What day? Saturday, April 4th at 5:25 in San Francisco, California. My name is Jenny. I'm here with Liz. We are the
LiverTransplantDuo.
and I wanted to get us on the phone so we could talk about our how we first met because I think that's the special part of our story.
And obviously, I'm Liz. It's 10:26 a.m. here in Australia on Sunday, the 5th of April.
That's incredible to me. I've never had friends.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, I've never had friends outside of America. And
but it's kind of good.
Huh?
It's kind of good though, because if you wake up in the night, I'm awake and you can message me, and then if you're awake, it's vice versa. So we've always got someone to talk to at 3 o'clock in the morning if we need to.
And I have messaged you at 3 o'clock in the morning when I woken up for some odd reason. And it doesn't happen too often, but I really appreciate that. Oh my gosh. So I think we should take a trip down memory lane.
I think so. It's funny looking at these messages.
It really is.
It's back the 19th of August.
Well, for me, it says the 18th of August.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Mine says mine's the 19th of the 18th for you.
Yeah, that's so crazy to me. And I first messaged you because I was so lonely. I'd gone through my first complication post-transplant, and I literally was laying in bed, and I thought, I can't do this alone. So I looked up #Biliary Atresia, and you had spelt it with 2 L's. And I found you. And I started looking through your pages, and I'm like, this girl's so amazing. She talks about her transplant. I want to be more like her. And I'm like, well, I don't know anyone like her, so I'm just gonna message her and see if she writes me back. And so what did you think when you got that first message?
It doesn't say. I didn't reply till the 23rd of August. I didn't get it because I never really used Instagram messages really much, and it must have went to my other inbox part where you don't see unless you're friends or follow or whatever, however that works. Mm-hmm. But I've always been accepting. I've had all my life ever since I was little, that even when I was in hospital, excuse me, had parents talk to me and ask me and all that. So I don't mind it. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think, who's this weird person or anything like that. I genuinely, I was happy to talk to you. I felt bad that I only just saw your message so many days later. But no, I've always been approachable, and it's always been an open thing in my life, and I've always known about it. And I was happy to talk to you. And I guess then we started talking, and here we are, nearly almost a year later.
Oh, it's gone by so fast. My first message was just, I'm Jenny, and I'm 31. I was born with biliary atresia, and I came across your page from the hashtag. And I literally was like, I don't have any BA friends my age, and I feel like I need a tribe. And then, you're just so kind, Liz. It's so cool looking back.
I just said, hope you're well, and sorry for the late message. And that there's not many of us around who are post-transplant so long and one transplant and that sort of thing. You can have people over our age to be post-transplant, but it's very rare to find ones that have only had one transplant and not several. So
yeah. And before I met you, I literally thought I was the only one.
Feels like that some days. It really does.
Yeah. Since then, I found so many people.
Exactly. And it's a different sort of thing to as you like cancer, I guess. It's so much more common, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. It's more common and that sort of thing. But when you're going through growing up with something that we have, there aren't that many people around, and there aren't but people your age who actually experience it. I was lucky enough to have someone, and I still do. I'm still friends with her now, and she's a couple of years older than me, but she has other issues and that sort of stuff. But she had a transplant, but we weren't always friends, and we only connected again when we were adults or something. I can't remember what age. But yeah, it was more so it was growing up and no one really understanding anything at school. People are just like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you not at school? Why this? Why that? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? But in saying that, I was never pressured to do anything or anything like that. So they were all very accepting, and I was very lucky and fortunate to have people. But I, at times, never accepted it myself. So.
No, I came across your page and I'm like, look at this cute girl. Look at her wedding pictures. Like, look at her dogs. I was just so excited. And I thought, like, this is what I've been missing for 30 years. Like, why didn't I do this sooner? It just was like baffling to me.
See, they don't do, like in Australia, I guess, when I was little, when I was a baby and I first had my transplant, there was actually a transplant designated ward at the hospital. And my mum knew all those sort of people. But when I had my transplant, I think there was 5 other people in the ward, and I'm the only one alive now.
Wow.
So sad.
Were they all liver too?
Yeah, they were all liver transplants, but they had other things wrong, and it was just that, I guess with 30 years, you're 30 years post-transplant, I'm 26. So it's very much, things back then were so limited, like there's only so much they could do then that they could probably do now, but it's just the time that you're born. And I often wonder why out of all those 5 people, I'm sitting here 26 years later, almost 26 years later, and, I don't know. Pretty sad to think about it. All my little friends, but I don't remember any of them or anything like that. But you don't grow up knowing anyone else. It was just that this girl that I am friends with, that she lives in my town, and we would go to our Thanksgiving services together every year and see each other. But
Yeah, for me, I went once a year to a summer camp. And there were all sorts of kids. We went once a year. It was called St. Dorothy's Rest. I still remember the song. The songs that we would sing at the campfire. Like, it was so cute. And we would do all these activities, and we'd have a dance, and we'd all eat together, and it's like sleep in the redwoods. It was so beautiful. We went on a hike to the ocean. Like, I remember it was like yesterday. My parents would drop me off, and my 2 other siblings couldn't go because it was only, for me, because I was, for lack of a better term, special, but it was always my retreat. And I didn't think of myself as like a transplant kid then, but and also there were no other liver kids there. It was like mostly kidney or heart.
Yeah.
So like I literally never had anyone else. And then where I grew up in my town, it just, never really came up.
Such a nice idea to have something like that though.
Yeah, no, I think about it a lot, but I wish that I'd stayed in touch with some of the people there. Like, I don't know. It was just so long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I have you. Now you're my camp.
Not me, on the other side of the world.
I know. It's okay. I mean,
There'll be a day we can show that we meet one day.
Yeah, we will.
Maybe. After the coronavirus, of course.
That cannot slow us down. I'm just kidding.
Nope. Definitely not.
I know. I was looking at a post of like 2019 was real. So excited for 2020. And like I feel kind of robbed because last year I was sick, really sick for the first time. And I didn't have a summer, and now this year, like it's Graham's birthday coming up. And
pretty much a write-off.
But it's okay. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm safe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the good things, but I'm a little bummed. Like I was looking forward to some vacations.
Oh yes, I cancelled mine. That we were meant to be going on to Tasmania in at the start of May. So we're not doing that. Then we were going to go camping, and now they've closed all the camping grounds and all that sort of stuff. So we can't do that. Can't leave the house now, but that's okay. We'll I'll still take time off, but it is what it is. But stay home, make everyone healthy, and hope everyone else listens.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I want to look back on some of these messages and just see if there's anything that was like
cringeworthy,
hilarious. No, I think we just talked about like I think my issues was the bile duct stricture, and then you were talking about your portal hypertension and how our liver's fine, but we just had like connection issues.
Yeah.
I was just so also like shocked that you had the same structure thing as I did, like super far out, because like when that happened to me, they said that it was really odd. Then it
It
happened.
is. They said that exact same thing where they're like, we just don't understand how this has happened 18 years later. It's just so random and weird that. So, but I remember having it when I had my drain in. So I went to hospital and I was in there for a week, and they put the drain in and they tried to, and they would blow it up and that sort of stuff. I'd go in anaesthetic and they'd blow the bile duct open because there's too many things in there. They didn't want to give me any surgery or anything, so they were going to try this first. Anyway, I remember being in under one day, and they gave you so I wasn't fully knocked out. I was given that, like, they call it twilight over here, where you're out of it, but your body would still move and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you don't feel anything, and you don't, well, I remember it. Anyway, I don't know what happened, but I don't know if they gave me not enough medication because I broke up in the middle of it. And I was in the middle, they were blowing it up. And I remember them saying, "It's all right, Elizabeth, it's all right." And I was just screaming because the pain was insane. I can remember that. And I think they must have given me, then I not, like, you know, was gone. I went back to sleep, and I remember waking up and I said, "Don't you ever give me that stuff again, ever." Like, I wasn't angry or anything, but I can remember that like it was yesterday, and the pain, and they're just like, "It's okay," and I'm like, "No, it's not."
Yeah, it's a special thing to be able to talk to someone who knows what it's like to see bile coming out of their body into a bag. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Or when they let it drip on you and the whole bag empty on you. There is no smell like it, is there?
I don't remember a smell, but I remember just when it happened to me, I was just incredibly upset. I mean, like beyond, like, you know, anything just making me stop like crying. But you know, it's all worth it for here. And yeah, but
your surgery to fix yours, and mine actually did end up working. I kept the drain in a month after I went home, and I had to keep going down 3 times a week to the hospital because I lived 2 hours away.
Wow,
and they would blow it up because my hometown, it's big enough, like it's got 300,000 people or whatever in it, but they won't touch me up here. They don't know anything about any of what I go through. So I just go straight down to Brisbane, which I might have heard of, Brisbane.
Yeah.
And that's where my surgeons and transplant team and all that are. So I would rather go down there anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But the travel, it was every morning getting up, every second day or whatever it was at the time. So it was exhausting.
Mm-hmm. And I remember the moment when we decided to start on the LiverTransplantDuo account. And what was the original name? I forgot. And then you picked LiverTransplant.
I can't remember now. You had it at something.
Mentors for Hope, I think, is what it was.
Oh, yeah.
But
and then I was like, I liked it, but I thought we needed something that was more defining what we were.
Yeah.
And I just randomly was sitting there going, "Oh, I'm going to put this and see what happens."
Yeah, I know. I was shocked that it was available for sure. And I just
I
thought,
was too.
If I felt the way that I felt for so long, there has to be other people. So I'm so glad that we did it.
And it's not about, we're not about, I like that we're not about gaining 1 million followers and all that sort of stuff. And that we generally just want to do it to help people and be those people that we didn't have, you know. And I think in today's world with the social media, we have the opportunity to do that, and we have the opportunity to share our story in a way that a lot of people didn't get the chance to when we were younger or whatever. And even if someone just reads one post, I think that at the end of the day, that one post could potentially help someone, you know. You don't have to follow us religiously and, you know, read everything we do or say or whatever. If I think these two are bloody idiots, but I think my saying has always been, if I can help one baby that was once like me, then I'm a happy person.
For me, I think it helps. I feel like it's my therapy almost.
Yeah.
So it feels nice to have a place to like let these things out that I've held in for so long. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that I have someone to share that with. And, you know, even though you're across the world, it's not even the same day. We're texting in the middle of the night.
Wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that we're both doing the same thing, but for different reasons, but they both work together. They're both good reasons, and they're both reasons that people may look up searching for transplants or biliary atresia or whatever they must be looking up, you know. And I think that works well for us. So I'm very lucky to be able to do that with you. And I hope that what we say on here gives people the opportunity to see us talk as two people, not just behind a picture or a quick, you know, Insta story or whatever, you know, that there's so much more that we don't get to say that we would love to say.
Of course, because I can't imagine putting all this in one post. I can barely spell right as it is. They don't make it easy. I need a spell check on that.
But yeah, I think it's going to work well. And I guess what would your idea of aim be for our videos or podcasts, whatever this turns into, I guess?
I don't know. I just think two conversations, like intimate conversations between people who have gone through something really scary and something that's really rare, and you know, just sharing our life together. And you know, I think that's enough right there. So
yeah,
let's do
sharing
it.
different experiences. Let's do it.
Aww.
Most definitely. I think it's a good opportunity that we're spending so much time at home at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think if I was still like going full speed like before, because I was just so busy, that I would have sat down and had the time to do this, but I'm so glad that we did. So
yeah, no, me too.
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's been 15 minutes, and you know, I want to keep it short and sweet. I want
I think if anyone has any questions or ideas of what they want us to talk about or discuss, let us know. We're happy to do that. Otherwise, we'll obviously come up with our own ideas. We've got plenty of stories, I'm sure. I've definitely got 1,000,001 to tell. And yeah, thank you for watching. And I hope that you've enjoyed listening to us ramble for your Saturday evening and Sunday morning.
Aw, I love that. It's so amazing. It's just still weird to me you're on tomorrow.
I know, closing to Monday.
Hey, you're one day closer to the weekend then.
Yes. No, true. Yes. All right. I'll look at it like that.